Joe Rogan has entered the chat. Who has not entered the chat when it comes to these two? And this crazy story of Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively, and Ryan Reynolds, because Joe Rogan has officially blasted Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
You've been following the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing?
Bro, Blake Lively, talk about ruin your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit, and they're like, you were
was the latest celebrity to blast Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Hollywood adores its golden couples, those picture-perfect relationships that almost seem too good to be true. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have long been celebrated as one of the industry's most beloved duos, admired for their humor, charm, and seemingly flawless marriage. But what if that perfect image is nothing more than a carefully crafted illusion?
Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are all smiles amid their ongoing legal battle. On Sunday night, the couple attended the SNL 50, the anniversary special in New York City, posing for photos on the red carpet. For the event, Blake wore a silver gown that featured flowers, while her husband wore a classic tuxedo. Following the carpet, Ryan and Blake also made a cameo in the live special.
Enter Joe Rogan, the brutally honest, no-nonsense podcast king who never backs down from controversy. His latest target? None other than Blake and Ryan. In a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan dropped a bombshell, suggesting their marriage is a carefully calculated PR stunt and questioning just how authentic the power couple really is. But why call them out now? And more importantly, is there any truth to his claims?
Is the latest personality celebrity to come forward and defend sweet Justin Baldoni, calling out Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, saying they effed up. Joe's spot on. Brandon and Joe are spot on, and it's just encouraging to see more big personalities, outlets, celebrities just talking about it realistically and not the way Blake and Hollywood is trying to spin it, which a lot in Hollywood are. Now, clearly Joe's not afraid. He says what he wants. He always has. But still, it's still a massive, big platform, and to see him out there talking about it honestly and actually sharing the proper facts can't help Blake and Ryan. They must not like seeing such big personalities and people with so much sway.
As the internet explodes with debate, Hollywood insiders and fellow celebrities are joining the conversation, turning this into one of the year's most talked about controversies. Let's take a closer look at the drama, the accusations, and what it could mean for the future of Hollywood's golden couple.
Ryan Reynolds and Blake being there. Why were they there? They were there because I think they both hosted. If you have hosted, you are invited. You can come to any of those events, correct?
Yes, and of course, we all know this, whatever. I don't do a deep dive on it, but there's some kind of legal action with some actor, Baldino's. It sounds like some kind of pasta place.
The context, though, if it turns out that Blake Lively made up all of her harassment complaints. So, I mean, imagine if it was reversed, where you can deep dive into it, but that's obviously why the nuance there of why people were like, yikes.
Joe Rogan doesn't mince words, and when he spoke about Blake and Ryan, his tone was far from playful. He highlighted something that might have gone unnoticed by many. Their marriage often seems to make headlines at precisely the right moments.
You've been following the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing?
Bro, Blake Lively, talk about ruin your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit, and they're like, you were a key part of this.
This is what you get, though. This is what you get. You're trying to ruin a guy's livelihood by using the Me Too movement.
Because they were trying to take over the movie.
Yeah.
They were trying to take over the movie and the whole franchise. He owned the franchise. The whole thing's crazy. And he's suing the New York Times, and he's got a great case.
He's going hard in the paint. But that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
It's like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
Yeah.
He did it for the boys.
Exactly. You got to do it.
You need to be like, nah, man, I ain't going out like this.
According to Rogan, whenever Ryan has a film underperforming at the box office, or when the couple wants to stay in the spotlight, a new viral story about their relationship suddenly appears. Whether it's a playful Twitter exchange or a heartwarming red carpet moment, the timing often seems almost too perfect. Rogan suggested that their meticulously curated couple goals image is a finely tuned PR machine designed to keep them relevant in Hollywood.
Especially a guy like that who's like known as being like this really sweet, nice guy.
Yep.
And then it's like, all right,
dude,
enough.
He posted the receipts.
Oh,
he's like, oh, remember our text exchange? Bah, bah,
how about
bah,
she
bah.
told him to come into the dressing room while she was breastfeeding, and then part of the complaint was that he came into the dressing room while I was breastfeeding. Like, you literally have a text exchange back and forth. They just never thought that anybody was going to come out with the receipts.
Because no one's ever done it, because everyone usually just bows
Because everyone's
down.
scared.
Yeah.
Because Ryan Reynolds A-list, Blake Lively A-list, like, don't.
But Rogan didn't stop there. He also challenged Blake Lively's girl next door image, suggesting that the actress isn't as sweet as she appears online. According to him, she's known for being highly controlling on set and for tightly managing the narratives around her career. You don't see her hanging out with a lot of A-list Hollywood women, Rogan noted. That's not by accident. As for Ryan Reynolds, Rogan questioned whether his nice guy persona is genuine. Deadpool isn't just a character, it's his shield, he claimed. Behind the humor and charm, Reynolds is a shrewd businessman. After all, you don't build a multi-million-dollar empire by just being funny and lovable. These remarks sent shockwaves through Hollywood, with social media erupting in debates over whether Rogan was exposing hidden truths or simply stirring the pot.
Well, guys, Joe Rogan has now made it clear what side he is on in the Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds versus Justin Baldoni of it all. In the most recent episode of his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, he called Justin Baldoni sweet. He says they effed up, referring to Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. He says that Ryan Reynolds is now trying to get out of it, and they're just like, dude, like, you're a key player in this. You can't just get out of this. And he also says they ruined their reputation. So let's...
Because Joe Rogan has officially blasted Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, welcome to the club, for suing sweet Justin Baldoni. He says they effed up. He mentioned this on his podcast on Saturday. The best part about it is that he did this with 3 other guys in a room while they were watching boxing. It's the best guys podcast moment ever. Check it out. 4 guys sitting around watching boxing, eating snacks, drinking sodas, whatever, and talking about real life things. Because these are men who could easily have been in the same position as Justin Baldoni. And they're saying that no one ever fights back because it's the machine. It's Justin Baldoni versus the machine of Hollywood. Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively. And the thing is, using that Me Too movement, which is a woman using the words sexual assault or sexual harassment, everyone bows down. They're like, we can't fight back. But Justin Baldoni said, "No, not this time. I've got the receipts to prove it."
The fallout from Rogan's comments was immediate. Within hours, Twitter and Instagram were ablaze, divided between those backing Rogan and those defending Blake and Ryan. The situation escalated further as other celebrities began weighing in. One of the first was Hugh Jackman, who shares a well-documented friendship with Ryan Reynolds. In a subtle but telling move, Jackman posted a throwback photo of himself with Reynolds, captioned, "Some friendships are built on honesty and loyalty." While he didn't directly reference Rogan's remarks, fans read it as a clear show of support for Reynolds.
Is your chair, like, higher than mine? Your chair looks higher than mine.
Yeah.
It does.
What, does that matter?
I actually need the taller chair because I have a short torso. That's true. I actually have I'm 6'2", but...
Oh my God, I'm so bored right now.
It's just a little thing. I've had to deal with this my whole life. Oh my God, where are you going?
Right back, just a second.
What?
Please.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Look.
Dude, we got a job. What are you...
Easy. Okay? Can I just get a little light, like, piano, PSA kind of music here for a second? That's nice. That's nice. We hear so much about afflictions like obesity, stage 6 tuberculosis, but there is an ailment that doesn't get enough attention. That's TTS, tiny torso syndrome. Do you know that 1 in every Hugh Jackman suffers from this disorder? Yes, he is a world-famous millionaire who sleeps on 16,000 thread count Giza cotton sheets. But that doesn't mean he doesn't feel. So if you see him and you can breach his 6-person security team, don't say, "Hey man, why is your belt chafing your nipples?"
On the other hand, a well-known Hollywood producer told Variety anonymously that Rogan wasn't entirely off base. Ryan and Blake have one of the most tightly controlled brands in Hollywood, the producer claimed. Everything they do, even the posts that seem spontaneous, is part of a larger strategy.
Why and how do big PR companies or celebrities control social media platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube? This is something we've been seeing a lot of, right? Content creators constantly saying, "I'm being suppressed." I have experienced that on my own platforms. And, I got a comment yesterday saying, "Well, I don't think it's happening to you because you have a smaller account or you don't have a huge following." That doesn't matter at all. And I'm going to show you guys why it doesn't. And this is literally my zone of genius. This is what I do for a living. So understanding how this is done is important for me because it impacts my clients and impacts myself. So it does not matter how big your following is. It does not matter if you're a big name in, the mommy sleuth zone. If there is suppression going on, you are going to get hit. And understanding how and why puts the power back not just in the creator's hands, but in your hands as well. In the community, those that are passionate about Justin Baldoni and justice for Justin, or any other realm of justice that you're looking to have, right? When we understand media and what's going on,
I don't know if Blake would have still gone through with the whole sexual harassment of it, because technically that's separate when you think of it, the smear campaign versus the sexual harassment.
Yeah, they're not.
But I don't think Blake didn't really, she still has no evidence for the sexual harassment. That's what people are sitting and wondering. They're like, so, because they keep talking about the smear campaign now, they're not really touching on the SH sexual harassment part of it. And it's like, what happened to that? Because that's what actually was a huge part of the New York Times article. And that's why a lot of people in the beginning were on Blake's side, because when a woman comes forward and says that, you most likely would think she would be telling the truth, especially such a person in the spotlight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Stephanie Jones definitely was pot stirring big time.
Meanwhile, Jessica Chastain was one of the few A-list women to publicly defend Lively. She tweeted, "Blake has always been kind and professional. People love tearing women down for being successful." Her comment ignited an even broader conversation about the double standards female celebrities face compared to their male counterparts. Even Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who worked with Reynolds on Red Notice, seemed to weigh in, subtly but noticeably, by liking a tweet that read, "Joe Rogan has a history of attacking people for no reason. Maybe he should take a look in the mirror."
There's a million things that contribute to that. I mean, obviously, first, just being able to look around and have the room stay. Getting good spatial audio, right? If someone speaks, then it should the audio needs to be 3D and come from the place where they're speaking. It's very interesting which things end up being important for this kind of creating this sense of presence and which don't. So having hands, obviously, if you're just looking around but you can't actually move things, that breaks the illusion. But having hands, hand tracking that you can do stuff is important.
The debate quickly divided Hollywood. Some viewed Rogan's comments as an unwarranted attack, while others felt he simply said out loud what many in the industry had been quietly thinking for years.
It is, because let's be honest, Hollywood doesn't like that. They don't like us being honest. They don't like us telling you the truth. They try to to massage everything into their narratives, right? And that's what these big A-list stars, as Joe's implying, do. Ryan and Blake, as we know, we're trying to cover this up. Ari Emanuel, all these people trying to keep this up and say, oh yeah, believe the woman, believe Blake, she's telling the truth. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. So kudos to Joe and Brandon for bringing this out. It's nice to see them out there doing it for the boys. Yeah, well, doing it for all of it, I would say. Doing it for all of us. Because, again, abuse shows no gender, as we learned with Johnny Depp. Women can be bad. Men can be bad. Yeah, we should listen to everybody. If they got a complaint, if you're going to come forward and make this complaint, you want to assume they're not lying and making stuff up. But sometimes they're over-exaggerating and such, as I think is happening in this situation. So,
while some may brush off Rogan's remarks as mere gossip, there's no denying that Hollywood is, above all else, a business. Branding and public image are essential to keeping a celebrity marketable, and many actors meticulously craft their personas to stay appealing to audiences.
Did it become clear to you that Blake Lively was the aggressor in this now epic showdown? Was it right after was it when Baldoni dropped the countersuit? Was it when Brian Friedman put up the website with the 170 pages and all the text? Or was it right away when the Times wrote?
Right away. I've always had an intuition about her, and I've always had an intuition about Taylor Swift and the branding of the nice girl stuff. And something just didn't. I went through Justin Baldoni's Instagram, and he just seemed like a puppy. And I read it just didn't add up to me that this guy was secretly just dying to talk about pornography all the time and talk about his porn addiction and wanted her to look at pornography. I'm going, this is not the Instagram feed I'm looking through. And I went back years, and I was frustrated by how nice
phony,
he was.
And he's doing TED Talks about, we men need to be better. I mean, he's that man bun, male apologist that it would really fly in the face of everything he's put out there about himself.
Ryan Reynolds, in particular, has perfected the art of image management. From his sharp, self-aware humor on social media to his business successes with Aviation Gin and Mint Mobile, he has crafted a brand that reaches far beyond acting. But with such precise control over his public persona, it raises the question, how much of it is truly authentic? Blake Lively has taken a different approach, maintaining a tightly guarded level of privacy. Though she presents herself as warm and relatable online, she rarely appears within Hollywood's closest social circles. Some industry insiders suggest this is intentional, that she prefers shaping her own narrative rather than letting the industry shape it for her.
I can send you my pass at the roof, or just read with you when we get together next week. Let me know what you prefer, smiley face. If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of just how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth. And him serving it back to her is just as important. You don't usually see both the man and the woman with such agency and humor. Anyway, I can act it out for you next week to make sure it comes through. Or I can send it now. Let me know what you prefer. XX. To which Justin Baldoni responded, sorry, was just crying my eyes out as kids and family just left for another 5 weeks and it was a shit show. Heart emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji.
Rogan's point isn't really about whether Blake and Ryan are a genuine couple. It's about how much of Hollywood's authenticity is actually a carefully engineered illusion. And in a time when audiences are growing increasingly aware of celebrity PR strategies, his comments have clearly hit a nerve.
Before we get into this, I'm going to be referring to her as B, not her name, because anytime I say her name or her husband's name, apparently my videos are now having audio glitches, thanks to her little ex-CIA agent. Her little ex-CIA agent is really trying to silence us. Too bad that won't stop me. Anywho, yesterday I posted this video about B, her hubby, and Taylor all losing tons of IG followers. And after that video where it showed that she had lost 285K in the last 30 days, it seems like yesterday was a day that a lot of people decided to hit the unfollow button as well. I checked today, so yesterday was Wednesday the 12th. She lost 109,306 followers in 24 hours. And maybe that's why she's been on a little posting spree. I know she's promoting her other movie, but she has been posting a lot, and I feel like it has to do with the fact that she knows she's losing lots of followers. And since this feud happened, so I would say like August 2024, Blake has lost over 1.2 million IG followers. But in December, the month when she dropped the New York Times article, that is when she lost the fewest number of followers. And from December 21st to January 3rd is when she actually gained 46,000 followers. But then January happened. January is when Justin Baldoni countersued, and that is when she saw the biggest drop among followers, which was 329,000.
One of the most surprising elements of this controversy is how silent Blake and Ryan have remained. Neither has publicly responded to Rogan's remarks, and in Hollywood, silence can sometimes speak louder than any statement. If they do decide to address the situation, they really have two paths. Ryan Reynolds could lean into his signature humor, cracking a joke and spinning the moment into another viral hit. Or they could choose to stay completely quiet and wait for the news cycle to shift, hoping the conversation fades on its own.
The outing marked Blake and Ryan's first public appearance together since the beginning of their legal battle, with Blake's It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni.
Meanwhile, Rogan's podcast episode is continuing to gain momentum, with more listeners dissecting his comments and wondering how much truth they might hold. If additional industry insiders come forward with similar claims, this could mark the start of a much broader discussion about Hollywood's fixation on manufacturing perfect public images. One thing is clear, the glossy veneer surrounding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds has been chipped. Whether it ultimately shatters is a question only time will answer.
What's your favorite reason to give or receive flowers? For me, it's being in love, but I'd love to know what it is for you.
Just random.
Just
random
because?
Flowers. Just a flower and you're like, what? What is
Yeah,
this? My
it just
husband
makes your
does that
day.
sometimes. So it's just like a note and a flower. It's like,
At the center of this controversy lies a much larger question. How much of what we see in Hollywood is actually real? Do celebrities like Blake and Ryan truly have a picture-perfect marriage? Or are they simply performing the roles that keep their public image and careers intact?
Now, do you think that Ryan Reynolds was a fan of Joe Rogan before this? And do you think this is going to really upset him? I think this is a huge blow to Ryan Reynolds' ego. Oof. Who's next to speak up against Ryan and Blake?
Joe Rogan's comments may have sounded harsh, but they push people to take a closer look at how the entertainment industry really works. In a world where PR teams meticulously craft every aspect of a celebrity's image, maybe the only genuine truth is that almost nothing is truly authentic. So what do you think? Is Rogan exposing something real, Or is this just more Hollywood drama? Share your thoughts in the comments below.